Good afternoon. Thank you very much for still being with us today for this last masterclass of the day, for this Adopt AI edition and this in this beautiful Grand Palais. I hope you had a great event over the last 2 days and the opportunity to attend a lot of fruitful masterclass and do interesting networking. My name is Thomas Filaire. I'm a healthcare partner within Artefact. I'm very pleased to be joined by Leah and Anna around the table today, both managers within our healthcare practice and co-authors of the white paper that we have the pleasure to release in the context of this Adopt AI edition. And we are delighted to share the key insights from our work, which is dedicated to exploring how Agentic AI is reshaping the future of pharma marketing. For those of you who may not know Artefact yet, we are the biggest European pure-player data and AI consulting services company. We've been created 10 years ago, and we are used to serving our clients throughout their, I would say, end-to-end data, AI, and digital transformation journey. And we have created our healthcare practice 4 years ago. Maybe a word on the motivation and the rationale for this white paper. The thing is that based on this experience that we have built along the years, we observe that the pharma marketing department, they are still struggling, facing a few challenges, being mostly the fact that channels, they remain either fragmented or siloed most of the time. The fact that the regulatory processes are quite lengthy when it comes to producing innovative promotional content for the brands, and the need to, let's say, engage and influence more and more diverse audience in terms of HCPs, patients, associations, payers, etc. So the traditional marketing model are simply, I would say, not designed to manage or to tackle this level of complexity. Yet the rise of generative AI and now agentic AI is creating a kind of new technology paradigm, if I may say, which may help cracking the case. And before we deep dive into a few examples, I'd like to pass the mic to Anna, that will maybe help us aligning on a few definitions first.
Yes, thank you, Thomas, for the introduction. So before going into the use cases and the strategic actions, let's take a moment to discuss what actually Agentic AI is and how that differs from traditional generative AI, how it represents an evolutionary step forward. So we understand that Gen AI is a world-class prediction engine. It takes a human prompt and effortlessly almost creates new and high-quality output, let that be text, image, voice, you name it. In short, it creates efficiency at scale. There is a challenge, though, and that is that it is fundamentally reactive. So there always has to be a human element for each output generated. If we imagine what that would look like in the work of a marketing team, we can see how, for instance, a marketing professional would use their internal LLM to create market insights, but then they still need to take manual effort to translate that into action. We can say that the gap between output and business outcome is still wide. And this is where Agentic AI steps in, because the key distinction is that it is capable of autonomously executing multi-step processes with, of course, a human element to it, the human intervention oversight where needed. If we look at the very simple general marketing workflow, we can see that in the reality of today, the top image, there is a human element to every single step. So the human is in the driver's seat. In general, that requires a lot of time and effort to manually get from point A to point B. And where we see that Agentic AI can revolutionize this process is in the operational aspect of it. So the agentic machine, let's say, will be able to pick up the human-defined objective, and from then onwards, take every step of the way autonomously with that built-in human step for supervision. So with this, we see that the human element will be switched and flipped more towards the, let's say, the strategic and high-value steps instead of the more operational elements. And to see how this looks like in practice, we talked to a handful of our pharmaceutical clients to understand where the bottlenecks lie, and this is what Lea will guide you through.
Thank you, Anna. Yes, indeed. So for marketing teams, turning some complex and scientific research into attractive and compelling content is absolutely critical for commercial impact. And it's really where the struggles begin. And it's what the person we interviewed and the testimonial we gathered that really pointed out 4 major bottlenecks on the pharma value chain. So it's not exhaustive, but still it gives a good overview of the major bottlenecks. The first one is market research. So it's the foundation of every campaign. We can spend up to 1 million euros to build hundreds of pages of analysis that will end up in 1 or 2 slides that will very soon be outdated afterwards. So it's a huge impact. On top of that, data is scattered across systems and format, which makes it really difficult to build a unified and activable HCP view. So it's really here that Agentic AI can be a really key increment of value in order to synthesize, consolidate a unified view and help identify and discover some opportunity levers that the manual team of humans would not be able to see. So it's really this capacity to anticipate that is very interesting. Second is the content development and validation. So the traditional method, if you're in marketing, maybe you know that right now, it's a bit too slow and too manual and no longer fit for omnichannel speed. So this is one of the big challenge. So they have to maintain very high standard of credibility and accuracy, and in the same time create some really appealing and attractive content. So this is one major challenge, and also you have all the medical and legal review process that is again adding some time before the publication and slowing down considerably the time to market. But I will let Thomas deep dive into this use case just right after. Third one is omnichannel. So pharma, as you may know, is shifting from very fragmented to personalized user journeys. So it's essential to build this view in order to have a consistent HCP engagement. Today, what we notice from the interview we've got is that marketing, sales, medical, and digital are still working in silos, which is leading to underuse the data in most of the case. And also, all the IT legacy is not helping, data cannot flow, and the user journeys are incomplete. So one big challenge regarding this omnichannel part is also to build the ecosystem of Agent AI able to retrieve the data from all the channels in order to help distribute the right content at the right time to the right person. And lastly, it's the sales support. So this is the main bottleneck that also a lot of interviewers talked us about, because designing an effective HCP engagement strategy is a critical investment. It has been proven that it can influence up to 60% of the prescription decision. So this is absolutely huge, and we are also experiencing a shift. The HCP, the doctors, are saying that they no longer want in-person visits, that they prefer digital activation, but on the other hand, they are feeling really overwhelmed because of all the promotional content that they can receive. So this is a major use case, and a lot of companies are actually working on this question. And In the next part, I will talk to you about a sales support use case with Agentic that we surfaced during our interviews. And I will let Thomas deep dive in the first use case.
Thank you, Léa. And indeed, in the white paper that we have produced, you will find additional details for those four, let's say, buckets or chapters that we have structured. But we have chosen to make, let's say, a first focus on, I would say, the MLR review process for several reasons. First of all, it's highly positioned in the agenda of all, let's say, the stakeholders that we have interviewed in the context of this work. I would say that 100% of the people were confirming that this is something, a problem to be cracked at some point in time. MLR processes, they are actually considered as very lengthy, costly. The challenge is to remain, very scientifically accurate and precise whenever you create a new innovative content. And each time that you need to have a kind of iteration to correct something, you enter a kind of back and forth extra loop that increases significantly the cost of producing those contents, which is a challenge. Also, this process takes place at many, I would say, areas within the organization, either while creating, innovative or original contents, usually that take place at the global level, or when it comes to localizing or deriving this original work to make it fit for, local markets, countries, and so on. So we have observed and heard about many POCs, initiatives, or more mature projects in order to create a kind of agentic workflow to address this problem, meaning a sequence of targeted agents that each operate on a very targeted, a specific, highly qualified kind of task. And we enter in a kind of world where you have agents talking to agents, and at some point in time also agents talking to humans in order to shorten this process. So to give you a few examples, you can have an agent that's in capacity to understand a request from a marketing team. I want to create a new particular content for this particular brand, this particular audience with this particular tone, and so on. An agent that will be in capacity to produce a new original proposition, tapping into, let's say, the existing content knowledge base of the company, and also tapping into some potential regulatory constraints that are being, used to feed the agent. And ultimately, last, I would say, a set of agents that can make a final, I would say, sanity check to ensure that we avoid, as many hallucinations or kind of inaccuracy as much as possible to remain highly scientifically accurate. So the results of this process is that in the end, the MLR review teams, they come up with, let's say, almost final product, which is, reviewed by agents that are, let's say, with built-in compliance modules inside. As a result, the first insights we receive from our clients is that these has the potential to shorten, I would say, by up to 60% the time to market to produce additional, innovative promotional contents for the brands. And I will now pass the mic back to Léa to elaborate on the sales support fourth, let's say, category that you expressed a few minutes ago.
Thank you, Thomas. And sorry. Hello? Sorry, that's the HCP use case effect. So indeed, so the declining access and rising of digital fatigue of the HCP pushed to really to really deep dive into this question. So the challenge is really to shift from high volume outreach to targeted, personalized, and timely engagement. And this is why we really wanted to talk to you about the Sanofi use case, which is really interesting. They really had this program, and they built the Turing use case. It's an AI-driven next best action engine that really is acting as a true companion for the sales representative. So the companion is analyzing all the data from omni-channel, like emails, Viva, web connections, everything, and is weekly suggesting a list of suggestions for the sales representative. So each week, the sales representative has a list and can accept or deny the suggestion to really have a better engagement rate with the HCP. And what is really interesting in their way of doing is that there is a continuous learning, because the feedback that the sales representative is doing to the engine is taking into consideration and is enabling the model to learn and become, over time, more accurate. So this use case is really interesting. It's live, it's working, and they can show some significant impact. So first, we have some intangible impact. So it definitely increases the sales rep efficiency by helping them to prioritize high-value activities and personalize their outreach at scales. And they also increase the HCP engagement and satisfaction by ensuring that each communication and each interaction is coordinated and delivered at the right moment. Then in terms of ROE, it's always very interesting to have some figures. They say that there is a significant sales uplift across 15 brands in 20 countries. So that's quite significant. And the KPI of return on investment in the 1-4-10. So that's also truly, really impressive. But we are conscious that those use cases can seem a bit theoretical, and it's really hard to put in place. This is why we want, with Anna, we'll hand the mic to Anna to present you some key successful factors.
Yes, thank you. So we've seen that Agentic AI holds vast potential, whether it is accelerating compliance or bringing a 10 times ROI. But actually reaching that or unlocking that potential is not as simple as procuring a new technology. We've seen from working with our clients that simply plugging in an agentic solution into an old legacy system and workflow will maybe bring marginal returns, but to unlock the full potential, what is needed is deep and sustained transformation of the whole organization. So for this transformation, we've selected 4 key success factors, which all organizations embarking on this journey should take to heart. To begin with, the leadership is the one that needs to set the tone. We see that often the biggest hurdle is cultural. People are afraid of how agentic will impact their jobs, and the C-suite should be there to ensure them that agentic will be there to augment them, not replace them. They should be present in not only the words that they speak, but also in the actions they take, for instance, with setting budgets or strategic direction. And in terms of strategic direction, we come to the second point, which is focused on upskilling the whole workforce. We see that it's not sufficient to only upskill a selected group of professionals, subject matter experts in this case, but the whole team across regulatory, supply chain, operations, everyone should have the basic AI literacy. We can draw a nice parallel, actually, to how emailing skills worked back in the days. If it was only a selected group of people who knew how to email, it wouldn't have had the full impact that it actually ended up having. So, in short, it's important to raise the floor of the whole organization. We also need to acknowledge that by opening up the workplace to agentic AI, which is capable of autonomous decisions, we also encounter a wide variety of governance-related challenges. And this is why it's really important to make sure that the human-in-the-loop way of working is what remains, at least for the foreseeable future, especially in such a highly regulated industry. And this brings us to our last point of unifying the data and tech foundation as a crucial last step. Because we know that a technological solution is only as good as the foundation that it lays on. So we see that in many cases across the pharmaceutical industry, data is trapped in different silos, and this is what needs to be united for agentic AI to be able to tap into that complete data context and reach its full potential. So in short, if you only have one takeaway, then let it be that agentic AI is not a plug-and-play upgrade, but it requires company-wide transformation.
Thank you, Anna. So now is the time for the conclusion of this presentation. Maybe just a few elements. First of all, the transformation is definitely maybe not complete within our clients at the time we speak, yet it is happening. And so we are seeing really this transformation taking place and moving towards a new operating model, which is, I would say, human-led and agent-driven. Second point, the whole industry is moving towards this direction. So I would encourage every one of you, operating in this area, to foster, I would say, interest and adoption and experiment as much as possible. You will find much more details around, the topics we've discussed by downloading the white paper through the QR code that you can see here on the screen. And before we leave, I really would like to thank very much our clients, the interviewees that we had a chance to interact with while conducting this work, and also to the entire Artefact team that put a lot of time, efforts, and energy making this possible. So thank you very much. Have a very great day. Enjoy the last few hours of this Adopt AI 2025 edition. And feel free to get in touch with us in the coming days should you be interested in continuing the conversation. Thank you very much.